Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Overwatch 2. And we are towards the end of, what is this now, Season 18? I guess, yeah. The drives are underway. For preservation purposes, as you can see, I have my legend title and icons and such. That has not been the case, however, this season. In case you are curious, I have not been playing Overwatch nearly as much as I did last season, partly because, of course, I got very much more focused on World of Warcraft once the new season there got underway, so I knew that was going to take time away from Overwatch. So, yeah, you can even see, I am pretty proud of this, though. I made Diamond as DPS and tank, and that's my new peak. I'm so happy about that I pulled that off. And mainly as Torb and Rein. But obviously I haven't done nearly as much compared to this current season. Not nearly as much. So, but I wanted to preserve this before it's gone, because on Tuesday we have the new season, which means this will be wiped. It'll be gone, and I want to preserve this because, well, just FYI, I stream these at twitch.tv/PapaNeeks. Just look for me on Twitch. In fact, I'll probably be streaming some Drive stuff later today or tomorrow. And this is only a couple days before my birthday. Just heads up, which we won't be doing this on my birthday. We'll be doing something else differently. But what I wanted to preserve in this was this incredible comeback win that my team and I orchestrated yesterday. We came back from an 0-3 deficit to win the game. And I did it as Reinhardt. Now, I'm not going to take all the credit. We had a really good Lucio on our team. I just want to go ahead and show this round by round. So I don't know what I experienced earlier this season. But there was a little while where I couldn't even look at builds or such on replays. Not the case anymore. So, as you can see, it's me on Rein against another Rein. We had a a Freya. Gosh. Give me a moment, y'all. Let me have a sip of my drink here. A Freya, a Ashe, a Lucio, a Zen versus, I mentioned the Rein. They had an Ashe, a Soldier, a Moira, and a Brig. So when I looked at this matchup, I was like, okay. Well, as long as the DPS are not too big of an issue, I don't have to go full-on shield build. But then again, I shouldn't against another Reinhardt because he just makes my shield completely obsolete. So what I figured is I could either go Fire Strike build or I could go melee build. If I can be able to one-on-one the Rein, I could beat him. It's whether or not I get interfered with that would be the issue here. Or I could go Fire Strike so I can try to land them against their ranged DPS. So we start on this map, Esperanza.
The objective unlocks in 10 seconds.
I was able to land a couple of early Fire Strikes there. So I make a mistake here, early on, right here. Because I was looking just at the Rein. In fact, if you guys want to see my perspective here. Whoops. The spacebar is the toggle, which is funny. When I'm already playing in third person in Stadium. See, it's because I think spacebar is the pause button on the replays for Marvel Rivals. So I'm used to doing that. I hate having to go here in order to pause every time. But when I charge in here, at the moment, all I'm seeing is the Rein. I'm thinking maybe I could try to charge and maybe land a pin. Unfortunately, I'm not able to turn to the left all that much. And I'm not seeing the Ashe to my right here. who then immediately kills me. So that was definitely a mistake on my part. So because of that, we lose that fight and then get a large push on the robot. And I was like, okay, if I can one-on-one this Rein without them interfering, I can win these duels. That's how confident I was. I land a pin there on the Brig. I was taking a risk here, if you want to see. But I knew the Brig was right there on the left. I knew she was right there, and I was hoping. Sometimes you have to take a gamble when it comes to your charges as a Reinhardt. So I'm hoping that maybe Brig will come back out and I can land a pin. If not, I know she's still there and I can still just kind of like attack her in the corner even though I'm putting my back to them. I see the Moira do that, and for a moment I thought I would land that. So then let's slow that down because I want to see how that worked physics-wise. Okay. I'm going to say this for that Brig. That should not have happened. You saw that, right? Let's just... Hold on. Let's just reposition here. The Brig is over here. And all of a sudden she's over there. What in the world? That should not have landed on that Brig. I will fully admit that. Fully admit that. So I know the Brig is down, and the Moira is down as well, but unfortunately the Rein gets me. Deuce, I was tempted to shadow there, but I knew that I was low on health. And because I know both healers are down, I know there's nothing... So... I knew both healers were down because they had just died in the previous fight. So I knew I could go at this Rein, knowing that he doesn't have support help. I wasn't sure if he had a shatter or not. And I see both him and the soldier low, but he gets his shatter off on me and gets me. Of course, the soldier's also there and also gets me. So, but fortunately my Freya was able to take out the opposing Rein. And then when the soldier runs away, our Zen is actually able to get him before he can run away. So we're able to make them stagger here quite a bit. So it gives us a shot to try and come back here. So I now have to make my way back.
60 seconds remaining.
So let me jump back a bit. Let me just kind of like re-see what happened here. This is not just for you guys, this is also for me.
60 seconds left.
So that was strictly because I knew that the run was down, so I knew there was no shield to block my shatter. And because the Moira's ulting, I'm looking for an opportunity to see, taking a risk whether or not she has her fade up to try and make sure that I can, like, stop her ult. And then I stand over here, because then I see that Bob is over here. So I figured, okay, I'll go ahead and shield Bob. Even though nobody's around, but may as well. So we have a good opportunity here, and we come close to being able to like reach the finish line here, and we only have a little bit, 30 seconds left. So I'm able to land the pin on the Moira there. See, I did not realize. Where was this Ashe, by the way?
Into the iris. 30 seconds left.
Oh, the Ashe was down there. And then she fired off Bob in that direction. That's rather amusing.
I've got you in my sights.
But yeah, they're basically ulting like crazy. And look how close we are to taking the lead here. Ugh. I didn't fully realize that we had not taken the lead at that point, so I felt like I had thrown that round there, unfortunately. So, we're down 0-1. Not a big deal. Everyone knows that a lot of people's builds are just not up and running in the first round. So I think it wasn't until after the army that I saw that he was going for a full-on melee build as well, because he grabs Gloom Gauntlet. I'd do the same thing as well, because I'm anticipating that that's going to be how this game goes between me and him. Now, he has to deal with a Zenyatta on my team, although our Zen was not exactly going with a full-on like Discord build to melt him, but
Not long now until the teams lock in for the round.
so I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. So at the time, I was chatting with somebody about, in chat, about how, trying to see if I can get them points about playing Reinhardt, because they were talking about how Rein seems fun, but they feel like they feed all the time. And I feel like, being someone who has over 200 hours on the guy, I feel like I can offer some tips or advice on how to play him. Now that I'm at least a diamond level Reinhardt, apparently. And having reached All-Star as Rein. But one of the things I was trying to do right here is I'm anticipating that a certain angle, if you're going to go for your charges, you're not really looking to charge this direction, because then you're going to be way in the back and way out of position. If you can, what you want to try and do is charge either direction, because then you have a wall right here, and you can either pin them in the wall or just stop in the wall, so that way you don't go too far. So what I'm trying to do here, because at the moment I don't see the soldier over here on the flank, but what I do see is both the Rein and the Moira here. So I'm anticipating that I can land a pin on either the Moira or the Rein. If I pin the Moira, that's a healer down. If I pin the Rein, that's a chunk of his health down. And I'm able to land the pin on the Moira. It's then that I hear the bullets over here, and I'm like, oh! Soldiers over here. But I, of course, also have to keep my eyes on what's going on with this Reinhardt here as well. One of the other things about a Reinhardt duel, there's a huge mental game that has to go on when you're dueling another Reinhardt. And that is keeping track of his cooldowns, especially his charge. You never want to be the first Rein to charge, because then the other Rein has the advantage. Because then they can either charge to countercharge you, or they could probably try, if you don't have Shield Stampede, they can just go ahead and Shatter you if you're a decent distance away, and just stop your charge. Now, you do also run the risk of having your slam interrupted by the opposing Reinhardt when he hits you with the charge. But what I'm also trying to do here is if I can land Fire Strikes on him. And at that point, I'm also trying to see, not necessarily go a full-on charge here. Sometimes I instinctively try to charge and then stop to try and bait something. Now, I do this instinctively against Ana's because one of the things I try and do is charge and stop and then put the shield up to bait the sleep dart. So that way they have it on cooldown. Because some Anas just can't help but want to sleep a Rein, right? So I'm realizing they're far back. So what I gotta do is go over here because their soldier just took out my Freya. And I'm realizing if I can anticipate where he turns, which he's probably going to turn over here to escape, I can land this pin on him. And I do. And I know that if I can land these Fire Strikes, I can also get some nice extra bonus damage. But unfortunately, I am now in a horrible position because I am low health. And I'm against a Reinhardt who can just ignore my shield. Because I keep, unfortunately, turning my back towards the Ashe who just melts my health bar. So yeah, I die there, unfortunately. So of course, now that I am gone, they can take advantage of it, and they win the fight and get the objective. Yeah. Now, I should probably also say that it's not like we were getting annihilated in these first 3 rounds. Like, I don't ever end up having a negative KDA, or, you know, KD in this game, in any round. In round 3, I believe I go 4-4. Was really hoping I can be able to get the pick there on the soldier. Unfortunately, he gets the shatter on me before I can shatter. And I shatter there to try and stun both supports. Take out the Moira. Not sure. I was like, okay, where'd the Moira go? And then she died. So our Zen's taking them all out. So we get the objective back. That's the other thing, is anticipating if the other Rein has their shatter, so you can try to anticipate when he's going to shatter so that you can then block it. So now it's like, oh, okay, they're all going up there, apparently. But this is also good fire strike opportunities, because if they all kind of peek through that doorway, well, that's just fantastic opportunities for some fire strikes, you know? And this is also a great opportunity because he's way too far ahead, and I can land the pin on him. Unfortunately, however, so you're probably wondering, well, is it that I died and he did not? So I see right here, he has low health. If I can land the spin, I'm hoping it's going to kill him. Unfortunately, it doesn't, but that's because this Moira was so focused on pocketing him. It was crazy. And the Brig was, both supports were really trying hard to keep their opposing Rein alive. Or their Rein alive, not the opposing Rein. That's... oh, gosh. I can form words. But you can see, like, this Rein is so low health, but he won't die because the Moira is just refusing to let him die. Even with a moment here where Bob... our Bob is trying to get them, he couldn't get them. So unfortunately, even though we do force an overtime here, because it got to 99%, they win that. I have a shatter coming up, which I'm hoping is going to give us an opportunity here, but I also know that they're looking for other to stop us here. I wasn't entirely sure where the Rein was. I just saw the soldier was over here. I was like, oh, soldier's over here. And I thought, well, maybe he might be baiting. We'll see. Didn't fully see the Rein over there behind. I didn't think that was a bad shatter because I got both the Moira and the Ashe. The problem is nothing happened from it. Because what I'm... You guys saw what I saw. I didn't see the other Rein was over here waiting for this. And he takes out our Zen. And then he shatters behind me. Basically to stop me from killing his teammate. So that was definitely a good shatter on his part. It was essentially a solo shatter, but still. It's the end of the round. He's trying to protect his team from getting killed from me, so... So unfortunately we lost that round. So now round 3 is where things can start to get more interesting because, of course, we get our second powers. Get some more money. He did have more money than me at this point, so... So he, of course, takes Feeling the Burn, because he's also doing a melee build. And he takes Plan Z. I instead decided to go with... Because I felt like what I need to do is be more tanky, more survivable. So I grabbed Phantasmic Flux to give myself all that extra lifesteal. Since I figure if I give myself lifesteal, it's going to really help me out. Especially when you combine it with both Gloom Gauntlet and Smashing. That can really make it strong. Really make Rein more survivable while also giving him a good amount of damage. So as you can see, this is what I was figuring, that if I can be able to take on this Reinhardt, where it's like just me and him, I know I can win these duels. As long as there's no interference. And you know, there used to be a time back in the day of original Overwatch when players used to respect the one-on-one mirror match duel. Players would back up and let the mirror match happen. Unfortunately, nobody cares about that anymore. That was my Deckard Cain. Thank you very much. I'm kind of starting to consider myself the Deckard Cain of Overwatch. So, I'm able to take out the Reinhardt there. And I think I charge here. Hold on, let's go back to see my perspective here. Ah! Blinding light. I'm like, okay, I can land a pin here on the Moira, maybe get this Ashe, but she knocks me away and kills me. Actually, it wasn't even her that killed me. It was the Brig behind me who got me. But what was the Brig going with? Huh. Oh, wow. The Brig really wanted to make herself tanky. So our Zen and Lucio are trying to hold down the point. I could tell we had a pretty good Lucio because for one thing, he was out healing our Zen by quite a bit. Which I know some people are like, oh, that's no big deal. But, you know, seriously. The other thing is, of course, to keep in mind is that he had a legend support either title or icon. At least I think he did. Matter of fact, hold on a second. No. That is interesting. Oh, wait, no, here he is. Right here. I don't know why it's not showing up right here on the last match here. But this was him. Krigan. Stadium Legend Support. Right here. So, I knew that our guy here, Krigan, was going to be pretty good if he's a Legend Support and he's playing Lucio and playing him that well.
Hello. Thank you.
So we get the middle point here, so I'm hoping that we can be able to move forward and do something. But of course I also know... So I think... Hold on. What happened here is I think I heard the bullet fire from the soldier taking on our Lucio over here. So I was like, oh, we can get soldier over here. Yeah, I could hear the sounds, but our Lucio got him anyway, so... Unfortunately, I charged into that pillar like a idiot. Didn't really see a good shatter opportunity there, unfortunately. So... I'm not really trying to push in. I was more so hoping to get a pick or two. But unfortunately it didn't work out that way. So... So I was like, okay, well they're kind of here. Also, I'm not really sure... How did that not hit him? Hold on. How did that not hit him? Okay, that hits the brig, but it doesn't hit him? A lot of weird stuff happened in this game when it came to, like, things like the way that the, I guess the physics and such worked. Of course, his shatter hits me. Even though I thought I was in front of that, but whatever. That's right, Moira. Pad your stats. Pad the stats healing the Rein there when no one else is around. So I'm looking for a possible opportunity here, but I'm also having to wait for the rest of our team. I don't know why Freya stopped moving forward there.
Into the iris.
Hold on, let me jump back here. I was hoping to kind of like graze that angle and go forward into that room, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way. Again, not sure how that shatter hit me. In fact, hold on. I gotta look at this. How did that hit me? Wow. That hit me like right where my feet were. As I'm moving forward, though. Like, I'm just saying. So I shatter there, trying to take out both of those players there, or at least stun them. Unfortunately, nothing happened from it, so... So now we're down 0-3, and I'm like, great. Now I want you guys to understand, this was a miserable night for me when it came to actually trying to get any progress on my drives. I had not won all night. The only wins I had were like a few games in quick play, but nothing in competitive. No wins at all. So let's just say I was like, oh my gosh. The only reason I was feeling, I was feeling better at this point compared to other games in that night was because I had gotten a raid from the wonderful Eggs Benna. So I had some people in chat to chat with, which always makes the experience better. So, but I'm like, okay, we're down 0-3. We have to try and really get ourselves going here. So I'm thinking, okay, I've got 31,000. I've got to make myself more survivable. This can't be just a full-on melee build. Like, being able to do some damage is nice, but if I keep dying and feeding instead of the other Rein, it's basically over. Now, I also have to rely... At this point, there's an argument going on between our DPS, or rather the Ashe, and our Lucio. Like, they're having a bit of an argument. So I stay out of it. Now, for a moment, the Ashe actually calls me out asking about my shatters, but Lucio defends me going, hey, at least he's doing something. So I just kind of stayed quiet at that point, not responding. So I grabbed Rüstung von Wilhelm to give myself more health and armor and more damage reduction. And I figure I can grab this to give me a bit more armor and even some ability power on my Fire Strikes, charges, and my Shatter to hopefully deal with what's going on. Now he grabs Nebula Conduit. He's fully committing to this, but he has the luxury of doing that because he's up 3-0. Fortunately, though, this is where things start to turn around for us. One of the things I've also tried to really work on is my timing of my Fire Strikes. The angles as well as the timing of when they release by the time I actually do the wind-up. So I figure at this point, okay, it seems to be working. My tanky melee build here, I'm getting all this extra melee damage from things like Feel the Burn and Smashing, Gauntlet and all that, but I'm also getting a lot of lifesteal. So I'm able to be more survivable against them. So I'm like, okay, this is going well. This is going very well. And of course my teammates are pushing our payload. And usually I think the tank is supposed to help prevent them from pushing theirs. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to have an ult here. I catch him off guard, but unfortunately I die too fast when that happens. So this is unfortunately sometimes one of my unfortunate things that I'm not looking at my health, but it did go down pretty fast, even though I had all that damage reduction. But I do address that in the later rounds, so. But I'd like to think that was a decent shatter there, considering that he was low and I was able to basically catch him off guard with his shield down. And I was also hoping to land a couple others. And I did hit the Moira. The problem is she got the orbs out before it hit her. So the orbs basically helped keep them alive because of that. So now because I'm gone, their Rein goes nuts. He gets our Zen. And now they're starting to catch up here. And I'm like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So I land the charge on the brig. The problem is I ran out of charge. Fortunately, my Lucio saved me with his ult. But even so, at this point, yeah, there was just so much coming out at that point from the soldier and the Moira ulting. I figured I was dead anyway. That's why I just kind of charged, hoping that maybe I could survive long enough to land a pin. I was getting a little frustrated at this point. I was getting really frustrated at the amount of damage that they were putting out at this point. So I'm now trying to figure out, like, okay, what can I do here? Hopefully land a pin. I don't. So I see Bob's out. I'll shield Bob. Trying to also land some Fire Strikes, maybe, especially on the Rein. See if we can continue to wear out his shield. And I see he's low health, so I'm going to go ahead and charge. This is when I realize how much the Moira is keeping this Reinhardt alive. Because the Rein is still alive, because the Moira is just pouring heals into him. So that's when I just turned my attention straight onto the Moira there and solo shattered her. Because I'm like, stop healing your Rein! And I realized that we have to take out their Moira if we're going to have any chance, any shot at all, at actually being able to win this. At me being able to actually win the duels against this Rein. So they're pushing, but we do have to keep pushing ours as well. So we get ours to the checkpoint. I see low health. And I figure also he's at the angle where I can get him off. So yeah, I go off the map with him, but I do also help remove him from the equation. So that's a huge advantage for my team. Because now he's not there. Hold on. We are seeing the bottom of the map. But yeah, I figure I can probably charge him off the map. I don't charge off myself. The Moira fades to stay on the map herself. And while he's gone, my team takes out the Brig. The Moira is ulting, because of course she is. But it's now just the Moira and the Ashe. So we take out the Ashe. Now it's just the Moira by herself. So she can't keep going. So now we can actually take advantage. We take the lead. With just 14 seconds left. He's about to be back, but I am already back as well. So, our Lucio ults to give us a big damage buff, or damage reduction. You guys know what I'm saying. To give us a big barrier. And I'm at 50% ult charge. Now I'm at 60. And I'm like, seeing him low health, hoping that I can get a ult here pretty soon here. Which I do. And I take him out, but unfortunately it hits nobody else because they're all hiding behind the pillar there. But I do get the Brig there. The Ashe is here trying to prevent us. I'm able to get some swings on her there. And then also I see the Moira. I gotta try and take out the Moira. I do. And we stay alive. Ugh. So now we move on to round 5. I'm like, okay. We're still alive. We still have a shot here. We still have a chance. Our Lucio now has a big bounty because he was basically playing out of his mind in that last round. Our Lucio, Krigan here, man, really played well. So now I'm like, okay, what do I do here in terms of my build? Well, I've got my survivability, but I could probably use some more oomph. While also maybe causing a bit more havoc for the enemy team. So what I decided to do here is I'm basically just going to go ahead and rely on my items to give me some survivability while using my powers to give myself a bit more damage. So that's when I grab Magma Strike, figuring I can be able to just put lava all over the place to help out. And then I grab Martian Mender to give myself more of that survivability, because there are times I feel like my health was just not staying up that long. So I figured this will help me out, especially because we have both a Zen and the Lucio. Even though they were both, especially the Lucio, were playing well, a bit more healing with that kind of composition would probably help. Plus, you're also getting cooldown reduction, which if you're going to be doing a lot of fire strikes to do the magma strikes and get lava all over the place, you're probably going to want that. So then I also get this because I've been getting stunned by the Rein a few times at this point, so I figure I'm just going to grab this. So if I do get stunned, that's more survivability because it gives me more health back. Plus, it also makes it where I'm stunned for a little less. Plus, now, I also have some shields, courtesy of that, along with First Aid Kit, which then these get added because of Von Wilhelm, because it gives me 15% more shields along with armor and health, so...
The objective unlocks in 10 seconds.
So because of the way that this works, because of the change they made to Magma Strike, they changed it where now it's not every 2 within a certain amount of time, it's every second Fire Strike. So we Reins have learned that you can Fire Strike like once in the spawn room, and then you can make your way here, and then you know your next Fire Strike is going to do the lava. So that way, if you know they're going to be in a certain spot, you can do that, and then there's lava all over that spot. This is where things really start to turn around for my team. And I make one of my better plays here, coming up right here. So I see he's low. I see there's a lot of healing reduction. I realize we got some healing reduction out on the enemy team. Now, let me see. Who was it on our team that had that? It was the Ashe. Okay, so the Ashe had the Cyber Venom with all the dynamite. So that was starting to really help out our team here. Also, our Lucio at this point had 110% ability power, going for basically one of the builds I like to do, though he was doing it mainly for Soundwave. He was doing a Soundwave build. But one of the reasons I like the ability power on Lucio is because of how much it adds to his barriers. So if you're going with a amp it up or barrier build, the ability power can really help out with that. So, by the way, the opposing Rein, he went with Martian Mender as well, but he didn't have some other stuff there. going on as well. But the fact that now also we have Cyber Venom on our team, well, you can just kind of see how it's affecting everything. You can see how it's affecting the enemy team here. Like, everybody involved. So I felt like I was in a dangerous position there. So that's why, at that point, I went back. I charged back over here. So at this point, I'm just trying to do fire strikes in that little window there, anticipating they're going to be right there. Get some burning damage on him there. I see they're all clumped up there. I figure that's a good lane for the fire strikes. I figure I'm in a bad position, so I charge back over here. I then try to just put lava there to disrupt what they're doing and where they are. And then here I'm able to land a fire strike, land a pin on him, get some swings on them to get that fire damage on them. Already have a shatter. I miss the one who was going over there to the left. But yeah, I consider that one of my better plays here. I get the Ash here, land the pin on the Rein, get the Soldier, get the Moira, get the Rein here. The only one I didn't get was the Brig, partly because I didn't quite catch where the Brig went. I probably could have gotten the Brig had I realized where the Brig went. But at that point, what I'm more interested in, rather than chasing her, I remind myself, we are down 3-1. We need to focus on the objective and win this to keep this going. We don't win this by getting kills, we win this by winning the objective. That's something every Overwatch player needs to remember and remind themselves of. I'm pounding my desk here as I say that because it is amazing to me how many players over 10 years do not know and understand that. That you don't win the game by how many kills you get, it's by how much of the objective you actually win. Did you push the robot all the way? How far did you push the robot? The payload. Did you win the point? Blah, 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 blah. You get my point. So I'm like, oh, okay, there you are, Brig. So I figure I'll put a bunch of lava there to block off that pathway there. I see the soldiers over here, so I figure I can kind of disrupt what's going on over here. And if they bunch up right there, I can land some fire strikes, which I do right there. That's a lot of damage on them, especially with the magma. See if I can catch the soldier. He runs away, so I figure, like, I'll fire strike to scare him off. Like, yeah, get out of here. Also, I'm not really sure what was going on with the opposing Rein over here. So he's just over here by himself against my team. He actually pins my Lucio, but my team just got him while his back was turned to them, so. But I'm like, okay, they're up here. Yeah, the Bob is there. But if they're clumped up in this room and I can just keep on swinging, the Brig... Hold on. Let me go back to my perspective here. Because I figured some of y'all want to see my perspective on these things, right? So yeah, I'm like, okay, objective, objective, objective. Now, some of you may be wondering, let me go ahead and answer probably a common question that I've heard some people ask in other Twitch streams, which is, what's with the pointless swinging that Reinhardts do? So the reason for that is because for a long time, Rein had a way of being able to hit players with his swing that you could actually hit them like around corners. So the idea here is that, especially with some camera manipulation, the range and the arc of his swing is actually pretty big. And if you're wondering why am I swinging when I know there's nobody around, it's a habit thing. You kind of get into a habit of doing that because you never know if somebody's all of a sudden going to like run by you and all of a sudden, bam, they get hit by one of your swings. It can happen. It does happen. I'm like, okay. Good fire strikes opportunity. I hear the Lucio ult, so I figure I got a big barrier to work with. I may as well take advantage of it. Unfortunately, I don't have a shadow to deal with the Moira, but I am okay with her ulting there, knowing that she now doesn't have her ult. And again, I'm like, oh, okay, I can get the Ashe and the Brig here. The Ashe does try to get away. The Brig boops me. But I figured, hey, they're both right here. Bam! The wide swing there was able to get both of them with that extra burning damage. Put lava down to kind of like mess with him. Pin him into the wall to get that extra damage. Get my shatter here. Shatter him. and along with a drop lava on top of the soldier where he was stunned. And at that point I realized, okay, yeah, we ran over them in this round. So at this point I'm feeling much better because we are starting to now play a whole lot better. I'm like, alright, we're down 3-2. We have a shot here. We have a shot here at forcing a round 7. So now I have a bounty on my head, because that's how much better I'm playing at this point. So I'm like, okay, what can I do here? So I've got 57. So I'm thinking, okay, if I now have... So what I was entertaining the idea of, but unfortunately didn't have the money to do this, what if I was able to then, after I got my survivability stuff, add a bit more oomph in my damage? And the way I would do that would probably be with either Eye of the Spider for my weapon damage, since I am swinging a lot, or if I want to give my fire strikes a bit more oomph, Champion's Kit. So I do grab Eye of the Spider, figuring I'm getting more value, but then I'm like, hold on, because then you want to see, like, if you grab that, you then have little, because I think I only had like 3,000 to work with at that point, and when you only have one slot left, you're like, So what I instead decided to do is grab the Fusion Drive, to give myself some ability power while also giving myself some armor and some more survivability where it can restore my armor. And I decided to round that out by grabbing Technoleech, which I really like, because now I have even more lifesteal and I have some attack speed. So now I've got over 1,200 health at this point. He has over 1,000. He is not building into survivability. He is fully committing to this weapon build, basically. Even though he's got some survivability, but he's got Crusader Hydraulics now, as well as Firing Pin.
The objective unlocks in 10 seconds.
So hold on. You can see that this round does not last very long. I do that right there just to get the lava on my second fire strike here, because I forgot to do it earlier. So I think I can do this, and then I can be able to lava again on my second one, which I don't do a very good one there. And now I'm looking for a possible pin opportunity. Don't get it. But I do drop a bunch of lava there, which I will say, Cyber Venom with the lava is really nice. Now here, I'm just like, holy moly, how am I still alive? And part of the reason for that is my healers, but also that Martian Mender. I'm telling you, that Martian Mender on Rein, when you build up his health, ooh, ooh, you get lots of healing from that. In fact, you'll see my healing. Look at my healing. Yeah, that's courtesy of Martian Mender right there. Just constant self-healing. So let me run that back. Because I absolutely should have died there. And I probably would have had it not been for Martian Mender as well as my Zen putting an orb on me. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing area denial. Soldiers are there. Maybe I can land a pin. I don't. But I could try and chase them. Maybe get some firing, burning damage there. The Lucio then utilizing the boops on this map. And then this Rein doing this. I don't land the charge here, but... Figured that was another pretty good play right there. Get the triple kill there. Don't land the fire strike on the Ash there, however. I was surprised it hit both the Brig and the Moira right there around the corner. But I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll take it. Figure I can either land the pin or get him off the map at that point. And the Lucio gets her off the map. And at that point, we're at 84%. We're just kind of like being like, yeah, go back to your spawn room. And get ready for round 7. So, we force round 7. So I'm like, alright. We can do this, y'all. We can do this. So, now that we're at round 7, I'm like, okay, what do I get now? Well, since I basically am also adding more damage via my powers, as well as possibly some items here. Since I got some ability power, courtesy of both Phantasmic Flux as well as the Fusion Drive, I mean, I thought about keeping it, but I was like, let me see if I can get both now. Unfortunately, I could not. But I do still decide to get Eye of the Spider, because what I realized was that it's not deal 10% increased weapon damage, it's just increased damage overall to enemies below 30% life. I'm like, ooh, that can work. So then I grab the Fusion Drive again, figuring to get myself more weapon power as well as some more ability power, and I grab Impact Burst just to make sure my Fire Strikes have a bit more oomph on them now. Even though they don't have the ability power, that extra burst there can certainly help out. So I think he also grabs Phantasmic Flux as well and Techno Leech, because he's realizing he needs to get more survivable as well. He basically goes the exact same build that I do when it comes to the powers. So, of course, it's this map. Y'all know. So, good opportunities for lava on this map, however. Really good opportunities. Especially when they all get bunched up like that. Or they're standing in certain spots. So I'm like, okay, is there an opportunity for a charge right here through this area? And there is. I land it. She doesn't die from that. But they both die there. So I'm like, alright. And now I'm going to go after these guys here. I'm the tank making space. Here we go. At this point, I'm starting realizing, like, oh my gosh. We have a legit shot at winning this now. Holy moly. Are we actually about to pull off the 0-3 comeback? So, like, talking about, or going back to what I was talking about earlier, just for any one who's wanting to learn a bit more about how to try and play Reinhardt. I just want to once again point out what I was doing about with my Fire Strikes here. So, what I'm trying to do here is, since I see he's right there, I'm anticipating the rest of his team is also about to round that corner. So I figured this is a good opportunity to Fire Strike right there. So, in order to also utilize cover, I'm winding here for the Fire Strike, but I'm also moving back, because what I'm hoping to do, it doesn't work out that way, because the Fire Strike only hits right here. Because I went a little too soon. But the idea here is that you can be able to get your Fire Strike wheel, just go past this, and you'll keep going while you are safely behind cover. So then I tried to do the same thing on the other side here, figuring they're all still there, and this might be a better angle. So I'm winding up already, going to this side of the pillar, realizing that that's when it's going to fire off. Hoping that it will go through. Now, that's why I'm not the best at landing my Fire Strikes, but that's the idea. If you can be able to actually get good at doing that, it can actually really help out your Fire Strike game as a Reinhardt. Unfortunately, we actually stepped away from the robot here for a bit. So I'm like, okay, is there a pin opportunity for me here? Is he going to try and pin me? I figure, okay, I'll pin him. Do another shatter here on the brig. Hoping he won't put the shield up. He doesn't. Get back in your spawn, soldier. So yeah, our Lucio just rocking him, man. And he's just down there by himself, so of course he dies. So yeah, they hit me with everything right there. They hit me with everything right there. Just to recap what happened to me right there. Because I'm like, okay, I can beat this Brig. I got the fire damage on her. She ults. Stuns me with her bash. And then he shatters me. So, of course... And then they all just focus me down and kill me. Before I like have a chance to react. I got hit with everything there. But fortunately, Bob is out. And their whole team is dead. And we win. We pull off the 0-3 comeback. Oh my goodness. I was elated, but I called it a stream after that. I want to end the stream on a high note. So, yeah. I'm hoping for that kind of success the rest of this weekend as we do drives, but who knows? I guess we'll wait and find out. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this off or end this so that I can probably prep to stream that. So I want to preserve this before the patch erases it. In case you're wondering, let's actually go back to that replay real quick. So in case you're wondering about the stats, by the end of the game, let me just make sure that it's
60 seconds left.
So I ended 51-16, 36k damage. Apparently I mitigate 15k, but that's because I knew against a Reinhardt, I'm not going to be mitigating that much. But compared to the Ashe and the Soldier, but our team really turned it around. Like our Lucio, you can see, he really healed a lot. I almost did as much self-healing as our Zenyatta did for the entire game. Anyways, I will see y'all next time.